Howdy, Friars. Welcome to demo day on May 14th here. It's going to be just a pretty small demo, and then the rest of the video will be sort of updates on what's going on internally for Team Toast here. Yeah, so let me just jump right into the demo. And after that, we'll talk about, those updates will mostly be about brand strategy and community building and some marketing updates. But yeah, so let's get the demo going here. Where's my share screen? There it is. Okay. So the first thing is a small bug fix where if I go down and I click on a page, I get reset to the top. So that's just a nice little quality of life update there. And then if I connect my wallet, let me mute myself. And I'm on XDAI now. So if I go to one of these XDAI ones, let's say I want to tip this one, I can click this, and now we have these easy buttons here. So this does a couple of things. First of all, it makes it easier for me to go and sprinkle tips around. So if I click this, MetaMask should immediately pop up, and I can confirm, just that easy. So it's way easier for me. I don't even touch my keyboard to do that. But the other thing it does, which is also important, is it just gives the user a bit of a hint as to what's appropriate to tip. I mean, especially this 10 cents one, I think that just wouldn't even occur to somebody. I mean, they don't know what they'd have, so you can fill in a custom amount here. It used to just be this. And this is just so ambiguous to someone who doesn't really even understand. Maybe they have a hint of what a tip is supposed to be, but they see this and they go, geez, what the hell am I supposed to put in here? So yeah, just to see that 10 cent just says that that's a valuable amount, Anyway, yeah, that's pretty cool. Not much else, I think, for Smoke Signal, so I'll stop sharing.
DApp wallet.
Yeah, the DApp wallet, but that we can't really demo that. So as you saw, MetaMask popped up a couple of times. I'll just stop sharing now. We are starting to think, well, we're pretty dedicated now to the idea of having an in-DApp wallet. So you basically would go to Smoke Signal, and instead of relying on MetaMask, we sort of implement a lot of what MetaMask is doing in the DApp. And the reason that we would want to go through that work is it would eliminate a lot of the onboarding. Actually, let me I will share a screen and show what the onboarding looks like at the moment. So if I now close, I say I lock my MetaMask, and I refresh now. So the onboarding that we have now actually has 4 steps. The first step is to install MetaMask, which we're just going to skip that one for now, but keep in mind that would really be the first step, especially for someone who's not familiar with crypto. The next step is to connect wallet, right? And then once again, I'm going to meet. And then also, so that's the second step. Now the third step, if I, oh geez, come on, get out of there. They will be on Ethereum mainnet by default. And so if I go to, and I want to compose, the third step is that we want them to switch to XDAI, because otherwise the gas fees are insane. So that's step 3. And the final step is,
Logan, sorry, I think that's actually step 4, because step 3 would be after you've installed MetaMask, you actually have to go through the MetaMask sign up process and create a new wallet and write down the mnemonic phrase and then verify it. Yeah. You have to do all of that stuff as well.
Well, it's good that you pointed out that complexity. In my head, I call that all step 1 of installing MetaMask and setting it up. But there is that complexity too. So there's the install, which has all that complexity. And there's Connect Wallet, which is slightly better, not as complex, but you do have to refresh Smoke Signal because of the way MetaMask works. Then you have to switch to XDAI like I just did. And finally, I can't demonstrate it because I have an XDAI balance. But if I don't have an XDAI balance, there'd be a little button here that says get some free XDAI. So that's the 4th step, would be using the faucet to get free XDAI. And then finally, you can post. And we were watching a user stumble through this. And the thing about MetaMask is if let's say I want to tip here, and let's say I want to do 50 cents. So for any action that MetaMask is responsible for, if it pops up and then I click away, now MetaMask is hidden. And I, as the user, don't realize that, see, this indicates MetaMask is waiting. This up here also indicates it. And if I were to go here, I could see, oh, MetaMask is still waiting. But that's so easy to forget. And so I'm going to click here. Maybe I get distracted. Then I go and I try to do something else. So let's say I want to burn 10 cents for this guy. Now, this is confusing because it's still wanting me to decide on this first one, that first tip of 50 cents. And you can see here, reject 2 transactions. So maybe I think I'm accepting this one. I click confirm here. And I think I've confirmed the burning, and that goes away. So it's really confusing. And some of that confusion, a small amount, is something we can fix with Smoke Signal, but a lot of it is really unavoidable just because of the weird thing about having a MetaMask pop up. So, okay, now with all that out of the way, that's sort of the context for what we want to work on next, which is an in-dApp wallet. So in contrast to all of that, once we implement this in-dApp wallet, you would click get started here. And then immediately you would go to a page. I'm going to stop sharing here so I can use my hands. You'd go to a page that would have like a face and an address all ready for you. And there's a little cycle or shuffle button. You can click that and it would change. Immediately give you a new one. You can click that as many times as you want until you get a face that you like, which is a piece of feedback we've gotten. And that'd be nice to choose your face. And so by cycling through, well, key pairs, essentially, you're cycling through Ethereum addresses, then you can wait, you can click and click until you get, a guy that you like. And it's still totally unique. And then you can use that as your Smoke Signal identity. And you can have several of these as well. Now that is a UX we'll have to develop. And aside from developing that UX, we have to sort of implement wallet features. So you'll have to be able to send cryptocurrency out from this wallet and export the private key and things like that. So it'll take some work, but it'll really be worth it because, well, the other point is that those 4 steps of onboarding are completely annihilated. You get essentially 2 steps, and they're a lot. Well, the first step is way more fun. You choose your face. I mean, that's fun. You get there and you can, I like that guy. That guy has a weird looking scowl or smirk or whatever, and you choose that guy. And the second step would be getting the faucet funds, but that's very easy. It's just a simple click. If we really wanted to, we can make it automatic, but maybe we don't because we want to maybe limit the flow of the faucet a little bit. In any case, that is what we're looking at doing. It'll make the onboarding magnitude simpler. I mean, my God. And so we've actually stopped some of the marketing that we've been doing through Facebook and stuff for Smoke Signal, just because the obvious next action is to implement this first. And once we get that implemented, the onboarding once the onboarding is so incredibly improved, then the marketing that we do will get a lot more conversions in terms of posts. I mean, who knows how many people tried to post on Smoke Signal but got confused because MetaMask was hidden behind the main window. I mean, that could be a whole lot of people. Or people who just got tired of going through all the various steps. Maybe it wasn't confusing, it was just taking too long. So that is something we're really excited about. It might take a while to implement, but we really think it's worth it. And we're going to get that done before really doing much more crazy marketing on Smoke Signal. And I'm just going to estimate that we'll get that done within a month and maybe quite a bit sooner. And we'll probably be able to demo the sort of the bits and pieces that we get working as we go. So yeah, I maybe talked a bit too long on that, but that's what we're thinking as far as the, when we talk about the in-dApp wallet or the new onboarding, that's what we're talking about. And that'll be a huge focus going forward. So let's see, moving on. Yeah, Chris has some stuff to say about the Brave ads that we've been pursuing.
Okay, cool. Can you quickly just enable screen sharing?
Okay.
Alrighty, so we have started onboarding with Brave to not only get some of these full screen ads, but also push notifications. One thing that I just want to show the community is how relevant Brave actually is. If we look at the Brave users, 50% of them use Facebook, the other 50 don't. And that basically to us means that it's users that have already moved on to different platforms, they've already sort of, realized that Facebook isn't the platform for them, and either they can't find an alternative, or they have just sort of decided no longer to use it because there's no place for them to go. And so that shows how relevant the audience is within Brave. Also, another awesome thing about Brave is the BAT token, the basic attention token. And recently, Facebook said that one of the things that they want to do is to keep Facebook free. And that's why they want your permission to use your third-party app data on an iPhone to advertise better to you. There's just one big flaw in that. Facebook isn't actually free to use. I mean, you're giving your time and they're selling that time to advertisers. So it's not free. Time is money, right? So that's a very sort of bad way of putting it. What Brave does, so they actually ask you whether you want to opt in for the ads. So you've already said yes. And then for your attention of looking at the ads, they reward you in the BAT token, basic attention token. And man, it sounds like I'm selling Brave to you guys now, but awesome browser and platform, and just so relevant for us to advertise on there, which we're really excited about. Yeah, I mean, they've got a very nice media kit of ideas and stuff. They also have quite a few million users already. And as we can also see, if we look at alternative platforms, Brave actually has an average click-through rate of 9%, which is far better than anything that we've been using recently. And just again on that, it's because people have already said, I'm willing to see these ads, I'm willing to get my BAT tokens, and you may show them to me. And it's not sort of Facebook forcing them down your throat. It's more of, I wanted to see this, and so that's why they are achieving a massive click-through rate, which is, by far better than the competition has achieved. So very, very relevant platform for us. I wanted to see if I can just quickly find in this media kit of theirs the amount of users that they have on the platform. I should have had this ready for the demo day. I can't remember, but if I'm not mistaken, oh, there we go. So 25 million monthly active users and 9 million daily active users. So I don't know about you guys, but seeing a relevant audience like this, seeing this amount of users, really excited to get Smoke Signal on here. We are onboarding for the push notifications. So basically what Brave does, if you're browsing relevant other websites, so they won't send you a push notification on buying cars if you're on Facebook or on a mortgage loan website. They'll send, if you're on a mortgage website, they'll send you bank loan push notifications. They'll send you very relevant stuff to the pages that you're browsing, which is very cool. So when people are browsing, let's say crypto projects or stuff similar to Smoke Signal, they can then get that push notification and, hey, have you seen this? Maybe start interacting on there. So we're going to start with those ads. And then hopefully in August, because unfortunately that's the soonest spot they have, we'll do one of these full screen ads, obviously just relevant to Smoke Signal, like Audi has done here, for instance. So we're also really looking forward to that, and working towards the new onboarding and also improving the UX before we get these. The way this actually works, you can get a full day that your ad takes over the Brave browser for a whole day for all the users. And so that's how Brave also works. They show one ad for the day and it takes over all the browsers for the locations you've specified. So yeah, very, very popular. That's why the first spot is only in August, but we might get one sooner. So I would also just say thanks again to the community members that originally pointed out Brave as an option. We're really excited to work with them, and I think this is going to be a very positive avenue for us to advertise on. Yeah, so that's the feedback on Brave.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot I'm excited about, but I just had a flurry of ideas as you were speaking there, Chris. You know, we're talking about changing the onboarding process for Smoke Signal. So that's one piece. Another piece is that there's a small issue with using Smoke Signal with Brave right now, where because they have a forked version of MetaMask built, like you can't really install MetaMask on there. You can install the forked version. That version doesn't work with our switch to XDAI button. So there's already some work ahead of us to kind of make Smoke Signal work better with Brave. Now, Brave has a token that many users will already have. We could, if we implemented a way to where people could tip with BAT, onboarding maybe becomes way easier. Suddenly, we might not even need the faucet for a vast majority of users, because you could have users that are on Brave normally and they have the ads enabled, which means they're getting paid BAT regularly. So they have a crypto balance. And then you get to Smoke Signal, you choose your face, and immediately you can post because you have cryptocurrency. I mean, at a technical level, that's all we really need for users of Smoke Signal. We need some cryptocurrency, and that's the hard part. So I'm just realizing that might be an amazingly perfect match. You know, we have the faucet, and that'll work for now, but it's kind of it's a pretty short term, you know, band-aid. But with the BAT, I mean, there could be something really juicy there. So
yeah, and I'll be honest, I've only been using Brave personally now for about a week, so not as long as I would have wanted to. But they have an in-browser wallet already. So as part of their onboarding, they create one for you, and I'm pretty sure there should be a way to connect to that wallet in some way. I'm
we
sort
will
of,
have to,
you know,
yeah,
we'll have to explore that. But if that's possible, we could even allow users to not even have to onboard, but simply connect to the Brave wallet they have in their browser, and they could then post and tip directly from the browser without even having to do our onboarding. And
yeah.
the really positive thing about that is, for our in-depth browser wallet, one of the things that we need to guide users on is you need to write down this mnemonic phrase so that you can come back and access this wallet later. If you don't, you'll lose access. And so when you're using the Brave browser, that's built into the session or the browser, and you're always having that same wallet, which means it even removes that step for us. So I really see Brave as the crypto future wallet system
Yeah.
built into the browser already. And
Yeah.
with their user base being so relevant, I don't think it's necessary to advertise on any other platforms. Why would big crypto guys not use these wallets as well? So yeah, really excited about it.
Yeah, and you know, it's a bit of a tangent because it's about Brave more than us, but it just strikes me that, you know, back in the early days of Ethereum, we had this app called Mist, and it was an Ethereum built. It was supposed to be like a dApp browser, and I think the problem was just that the industry didn't actually have enough actually built in terms of dApps back then. So we had that, and then we have MetaMask, which is sort of like adding the dApp capability to browsers, and then we have multiple mobile browsers that are dApp browsers. And so it's like clear that the industry has been trying to nail down this combination of wallet and browser, and I think Brave is sort of another, you know, hit that has gotten pretty close to the mark. So
yeah. Cool.
Okay, so let's see. I wanted to talk a little bit about the brand strategy that we've been working on, which is really exciting, and then the community building that we've just onboarded someone to start heading. So the brand strategy, let me just get my document up here. You can, if you go online and search for like how to create a brand strategy, well, first of all, the place for that is the ultimate goal you want is to be able to design your stuff. And so you start with a brand strategy, which I'll talk about, and then that gets you to a brand identity, and that informs like colors and you know, keywords and logos and stuff, and then that eventually gets to your design decisions. And so that's really exciting to me because, as I'll talk about now, we've really done a lot of great work on the brand strategy, and that will lead to a redesign, first of FoundryDAO.com, and then eventually of Smoke Signal and any other product we build. So, so the payoff here is going to be, I think, really huge. I'm so excited to show you guys that. It might take a few weeks to get there, but for now, at least, I can talk a bit about the brand strategy that we've developed. So there's a lot to go on here. I don't really want to share the full document yet, but there's a lot of stuff here that really really speaks to me, and I think we've nailed on something. So, so for example, you can define your brand essence. So what is the personality? And for that, we decided it's fearless, determined, brave, intelligent, cunning. So, and we have a real life character example of Tyrion Lannister, for example. And then they talk about voice and tone as well that you want to define. The voice is what your product always sounds like. Sorry, let me just close this door. Be right back. So the voice is what you're, what you always sound like, and the tone is sort of things that you might sound like sometimes. So for our voice, we decided there's honest, confident, level to the listener. So we're not speaking above someone's head or like being condescending either. We're sort of matching to the readership, measured and strong. And then the tone, and so everything we write should have all of those in voice. So everything we write should be honest, confident, level to the listener, measured and strong, right? And then tone is sort of things that you can more pick and choose, and depends on the situation. So tone we could be witty, humorous, casual, inquiring, defiant, cocky, professional, knowledgeable, or daring. So any of those can be sort of chosen from for any given piece of writing. Yeah, and then there's another, and there's a lot here. This is the last thing I'll cover because there's quite a bit here. But we talked also about messaging pillars. So there's the value proposition, which is sort of tries to condense everything, and the messaging pillars are sort of, if you split that up, what are the main pillars of our story, you could say. So these three messaging pillars that we have, one is that we convert bricks into bits. So the idea there is that we convert sort of conventional, you could say brick and mortar structures into bits on the blockchain. So Smoke Signal, as an example, we took social media. It's not exactly bricks, but it's sort of conventional world. And we thought, okay, what does that look like on the blockchain? And not just like a rebranding of like, blockchain Facebook or blockchain Twitter, but like really if we build that from the ground up on blockchain, what does that look like? And then we got to Smoke Signal. And a part of this pillar is really inheriting the benefits of blockchain by building it so close to blockchain that you kind of can't help but have the benefits. And that's how Smoke Signal is pseudonymous and uncensorable and uncontrolled, et cetera, et cetera. It's because we really thought, how do we as Foundry, and this gets to the Foundry imagery, a Foundry is something that builds things. So how do we as Foundry build something on the blockchain that delivers the same value, but better than things like Facebook and Twitter? And that's how we got to Smoke Signal. So that's one of our pillars. We convert these bricks or these older institutions into blockchain entities from the ground up. The second pillar is upgrades to society. And this touches on impact. So Smoke Signal isn't just a product. If it's successful, it will change the conversation around cancel culture significantly. I mean, it'll make it to where no one can ever really be censored at all. And that's a pretty extreme proposition, but the idea is that we build this because it upgrades society. So, and we'll never go back to not having a Smoke Signal. Well, that's already true, actually. It's just a matter of whether we can market it and make it successful. And then the third pillar is decentralized and unstoppable. So Foundry is decentralized and unstoppable, and so the whole movement is decentralized and unstoppable, and that could apply to its products as well. Yeah, and maybe just to finish this off, I'll just read the value proposition as we have it now, just because to me, it's quite inspiring. And then we can move on to the next topic here. Foundry is the modern factory that converts bricks into bits. These bits live on the blockchain as permanent upgrades to society. This means that we take things that already exist in the real world, but we convert them into the blockchain. We're not limited to only one industry, but rather we're a multi-industry blockchain development organization. Because all our tools are completely based on the blockchain, they have all the upsides of blockchain. Foundry and its products are decentralized and unstoppable. So we're probably going to iterate through that quite a bit, but that captures everything that we want to capture for our unique value proposition. In other words, what do we what are we bringing to potential investors, potential buyers of Fry that no one else is bringing them? I mean, we could talk about you'll make money with Fry, but that's what everyone says, right? So that's not a unique value proposition. Everything I just read there is unique to Foundry. This is what gives someone a reason to invest in Foundry above everything else. So in other words, why would you take 20% of your portfolio, say, and put it into Fry instead of Ethereum or something else? That's the reason. So that's what we can convert into a lot of messaging. Okay, I'll shut it there. Other than to say that this is sort of the seed that we're gonna take and move into a brand identity, and then that will bloom into redesigns that should look really great. I want to share more ideas, but I'll save some for the next demo day. Yeah. So okay. So then the last thing on my list here. Did you have anything you want to say on that, by the way, Chris, before I move on to the last bit here?
No, I think one thing I could just add without giving anything away yet, keeping some stuff for the next demo day, is that we're also going to have a mascot and a character that is going to contain all of these values in one character. And maybe this is very detailed, but we're also wanting to potentially 3D print that mascot into a real life thing. But we'll have something that represents all of this. And then obviously throughout all the branding and stuff we're going to be doing, this will be presented. And we have some very solid ideas on how, but I think we'll keep that for potentially next time or the time thereafter.
Yeah, it has to do with hives and swarms. I'll leave it at that. Okay, cool. So the last thing I want to touch on is community building. So we just onboarded somebody who is still deciding whether they want to be pseudonymous or not. So I'll be mysterious about that part. But he is working on, oh, I've already gendered him. Oh, that's too bad. He's working on basically looking at things like Metacartel and SushiDAO and all of these DAOs that exist today and are and have an active community, and researching into how do they do it and how do we do that. Foundry ultimately to succeed obviously needs a huge community. Well, its behavior needs to be made up of the community. So far we've been operating as Team Toast to basically run everything. But the sooner we can get a community to be the entirety of Foundry's behavior, the sooner we can basically say, okay, we've finally done it. We've built a thing called Foundry that can actually resist, can be resilient against pressure and stuff. So just as some, as examples of some of the stuff that research has uncovered, and he's just getting his feet wet. He only started the middle of this week. So, I mean, some of these are going to sound obvious, but they're just points that we could focus on and make sure that we implement to get the community going. So getting a Discord channel, engage and support developers who build projects. Let's see. Support a target group who support our projects, figure out how to make them feel good and connect them with one another. What is the community out there talking about, and follow community conversations. And then he's also looked into, as I said, what SushiDAO and Metacartel did differently. So just as one example, Metacartel has a community call. It's like a chill hangout, a nice way to get everyone connected. It empowers the community through funding, and they have fun. So they have the dancing chili as their logo. So again, this is quite a long document. I will just share a part of it. Let me just share this, because I think it's a great illustration for where we need to go. Hold on, let me get this into a separate tab. Wait, now where did it go? Hold on a second. Sorry guys, give me just a second. Okay, so this graphic here just represents what I see as the journey ahead of us in terms of building community, and we have a long way to go. I would say right now we're here. We have an initial core team. This first 10 to 20 group of casual contributors, we have a few people in Telegram who contribute to the conversation, and that's certainly valuable. But when I think about this first group, I think about people who are doing sort of a bit more of the harder work. So that could be visual design, or going out and marketing, or developing, building in some sense. And these other DAOs like Metacartel and SushiSwap, they have this community. It's very vibrant and a lot of people are working together. So that's the aim here. And then we have to, I guess that sort of blends in with the second one because it's the first community-driven working group. But what we want to get is here. We want to get several working groups that are working together and networked together, each with own budgets and operational goals. That's where we really want to get. And once we have that, that pairs really nicely with how Foundry is, how Foundry will have to operate as a DAO. Foundry won't be able to vote in every single, person's salary every month. It will have to be more realistically, it'll be voting in firms and smaller groups, maybe even micro DAOs that have their own sort of sub goals within Foundry. And so once we get this community here, and again, this connects to the high flyer idea that I talk about a lot, then we're sort of ripe for governance. Once we put governance in, this community is what would take that and really, that'll be the final sort of, well, not the final, but the first breath of life into Foundry. In some sense, the Friar community here will be the spirit of Foundry, and the governance is like the mind, the brain. It's what actually actuates the decisions. So yeah, that's going to be this path to community autonomy and decentralization. It is absolutely crucial, and we have our sort of, we've onboarded someone on the team Toast who is going to be focusing on that as a main focus of their job. So that'll be good to see that, constantly get improved. That's all I have. Do you have anything you wanted to go over additionally, Chris?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that quick sales kind of thing that also sort of falls into community building, but maybe not limited to it, is the professionality of the team, and that's also one of the core values, or I would say personality aspects that we've added, is to be professional. And one of the things that the new team member has already pointed out is the videos not being as professional as they can be when we present to the community. And we're also going to be working on ways to sort of up the notch on the quality and also make that better. It also has to do with IBM. When you back in the day wanted to work for IBM as a salesman, initially they didn't allow having beards, and they said no salesman with beards because beards grows to people. And you can just imagine if you go out to a client with dirty fingernails or whatever, anything that can put them off, they can sort of walk away from the deal just because that one thing put them off, and not even listen to what you're saying, because that one aspect of you is grossing them off. And that's why we as salespeople, but we are actually the salespeople of Foundry. I mean, we're the guys that are talking to the community, giving feedback. We're the ones they're seeing, and if we don't present properly, or whatever reason might put people off, they might decide not to invest just because of that one reason. So we're also going to be internally working at making the stuff more professional, etc. So just wanted to add that as well.
Yeah. Another quick note, it's Peter Pan actually who supplied the illustration that I just went through, just to give credit where credit is due. Our hire has learned actually a lot just by going through this blog. So much thanks to Peter Pan for not outsourcing, but I guess exposing a lot of the learning that he's done about community building. And then finally, I just want to mention that we don't have death updates for this video right here, but Skonk will be giving a vlog later on the Telegram group just to update us on where that's at. We've been making a lot of progress. As I understand it, the tests are basically, they're pretty much done. They just want to now package all the tests so they can all get run at once, because you have to sort of reset the state of the contract whenever you want to test run different tests. And then, yeah, hopefully sometime this next week we can get something live pending audits. That's sort of the plan now, is to get something live and show you guys, hey, it's here, and then put a disclaimer on there saying like we're still waiting on the final audits on it. But yeah, cool. All right, thanks for tuning in, friars and non-friars alike. Yeah, really excited about where brand identity and brand strategy stuff is going to go. And once again, you guys might notice the pace is going to kind of slow down for a few weeks in terms of sort of demoable updates, but that's just because we're focusing a lot on our sort of internal configuration and doing things the right way. And one example is the brand strategy. You know, that's not very flashy, but it really is going to be an incredible asset going forward. So yeah, okay. All right, see you guys later.